I think she's the damn villain for the entire WNBA, the old WNBA fan base with some of the stuff they've said about her.
I am really excited, and I didn't come here for the spotlight. I didn't come here to have more eyes. I came here to win.
Earlier this month that you'd be the Sabrina Carpenter to Caitlin's Taylor Swift. That was a joke, but I guess people really took that seriously. People love it.
Sophie Cunningham is very rarely innocent in these scenarios.
All right, so Sophie Cunningham really shined with Caitlin Clark out, and she is going to be an absolute steal for the Indiana Fever.
When I tell you it's a good fresh breath of air, it is. And so you guys will see.
Just minutes ago, Sophie Cunningham delivered a statement that's sending shockwaves through the WNBA. Her comments about Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever are bold, unexpected, and brutally honest.
I mean, you know, she has changed our game in the best possible way in every way. And so just to be alongside of her and maybe relieve the pressure, being able to shoot and spread the court for her to go do her thing.
Fans are stunned, and reactions are pouring in from all corners of the league. In a league fueled by rivalries and rising stars, Cunningham's truth-telling is adding even more heat to an already electric season. What exactly did she say? And why is it causing such a stir?
If she didn't want to smoke, she would not be posting anything. She would have just ignored it.
This is more than just a post-game interview. It's a glimpse into the mindset of a veteran player who sees the bigger picture and isn't afraid to speak her mind. Let's dive into what really happened.
You better believe when these two teams play on the 28th of May, it's going to be heated and it's going to be an awful, awful lot of fun.
When you think of fierce competitors in the WNBA, Sophie Cunningham's name often comes with intensity and attitude. But what took everyone by surprise recently was her shockingly positive take on Caitlin Clark.
Level of toughness and tenacity that the team needed. And of course, you know, they brought other players in who bring a little bit of that as well, the vets in Bonner and Howard. But there's a certain level of spiciness with Sophie Cunningham. But she's also the best perimeter playmaker on the team outside of Caitlin Clark.
In multiple interviews, Sophie didn't just offer surface-level praise. She went all in, calling Caitlin Clark already the face of the WNBA. In her words, Clark isn't just a talented rookie. She's a once-in-a-generation player who's changing the game. Sophie highlighted Caitlin's elite court vision, claiming that her passing might actually be more impressive than her deep shooting range.
Where's Caitlin Clark's teammates? I'd be at my teammates if nobody came to my defense.
According to Cunningham, Caitlin isn't just finding teammates. She's creating the space, drawing defenders, and then delivering the perfect pass. And if you're wondering whether this was just locker room talk, think again.
And that's one of the things with Sophie Cunningham, with those type of players, that people don't realize just how important that they are, and just how big they can be for a team. And you can see again in the response, like, she's posting the video.
Sophie made these statements publicly in interviews and features, emphasizing how much Clark has already elevated the game and the Fever's profile. This wasn't jealousy, it wasn't sarcasm, it was real recognition from a player who knows that when stars shine, the entire league benefits. Sophie Cunningham's praise for Caitlin Clark isn't just a feel-good moment. It's a smart, calculated move from a player who fully understands the business of basketball.
I think she's probably thinking, you know what, let's get the heat off our number 22. When these other teams last year, when they were trying to punk Caitlin, you know what, let's piss off these players enough that instead of them trying to go off Caitlin, get her off her game, they go for me.
Let's be clear, Sophie isn't trying to ride the wave of hype blindly. She knows exactly what she's doing. In today's WNBA, visibility means opportunity, and Clark is bringing more attention to the league than any rookie in recent memory. Cunningham realizes that the brighter the spotlight on players like Clark, the more it reflects on the entire roster. More fans, more TV deals, more endorsements.
Offensively, we're going to get to know each other a lot more, just the chemistry, the way each other moves, people's tendencies. But at the end of the day, I think everyone's pretty proud of what we did. That's the first time we've all played together as a group ever. And so I think there's a lot of good takeaways.
For a veteran role player like Sophie, that means more relevance and more money. She even admitted it directly. The bigger the league gets, the better it is for everyone, including herself. She's not trying to be the star. She's trying to be the smart one in the room. Aligning herself with a generational player like Caitlin Clark not only raises her own profile, but also positions her as someone who gets the bigger picture. And that awareness? That's rare. While others might envy the spotlight or resist the change, Sophie is embracing it and using it.
So Sophie Cunningham is a player for the Indiana Fever, and she's somebody that has signed, and probably one of the people that are more like positive towards Caitlin Clark. Not even one of, and originally. And to be fair, it wasn't just Caitlin Clark, it was all the rookies.
Her willingness to play her role, stay vocal, and be the physical, emotional energy on the floor while letting Clark lead from the front, that's the kind of chemistry that turns a young team into a playoff contender. So yes, Sophie's words may seem generous, but make no mistake, there's a strategy behind them. She's not just praising Caitlin Clark, she's betting on her.
Sophie Cunningham, there has been some footage released, and the footage is actually kind of like mind-opening or mind-expanding because she's generally a 3, right? Or actually, she's generally a 4. She was played as a power forward over on the Phoenix Mercury, and Lexi Brown on her Full Circle podcast had noted that Sophie Cunningham's natural position is a 3, and the way that Indiana Fever run their motion offense and some run and gun, she sees the Indiana Fever putting Sophie back in that 3 position, so she sees her having like more of a breakout season than she'd had at the Mercury, having to play a position that wasn't exactly natural to her.
While Sophie Cunningham's support for Caitlin Clark sounds positive on the surface, it's also lighting a fuse beneath the surface of the WNBA, because not everyone is thrilled about Clark's rapid rise or Sophie's embrace of it. There's real tension brewing. Some veteran players and fans have questioned whether Clark has earned the spotlight so quickly. And let's not forget, Sophie Cunningham isn't exactly known for keeping things peaceful on the court. In fact, she has a long history of being one of the WNBA's most physical and polarizing players.
What's it like seeing some of your teammates, just a natural part of the business, and they don't make the team? How tough is that to be on the squad with that happening?
Man, it's hard, right? We all reached out. I think that they brought really good people in, great people into training camp this year. But just because you didn't make this squad, this is probably one of the harder rosters to make in the W this year. It doesn't mean you're out of the W, and you just got to keep ready, keep playing, keep grinding it out. And if it's hard to make the league. I know Sid and I, we were second rounders. We stuck. Her experience is a little bit different than mine, but just because you didn't make a roster doesn't mean you're out of the W forever.
Her aggressive style, past incidents, and even her recent social media jabs have made her a villain in the eyes of many. Now imagine this. That same fiery player is not only backing Caitlin Clark, but also becoming her unofficial bodyguard, on and off the court. It's almost like Sophie is setting herself up as the enforcer, taking the hits so Clark can focus on her game. That creates a psychological advantage for Indiana.
Players who our mind is strictly on
else.
Basketball and winning.
Like, do people not realize it? Like, if anything, people are like, oh, and people aren't going to want to mess with Sophie Cunningham. No, everyone wants to mess with Sophie Cunningham. But people aren't going to mess with Caitlin Clark. If people go near Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham's immediately stepping in. If you mess with Sophie Cunningham, DeWanna Bonner's going to be stepping in. I think you need that level of toughness that they did not have last year, because you want a player on your team that other players hate playing against, and there's no way the teams like playing against Sophie Cunningham.
Take the Washington Mystics, for example. There's already a brewing rivalry there. Players from that team have gone at Clark in the past. Hard. And when Sophie responded to a recent situation involving Mystics forward Shakira Austin with a sarcastic Instagram story.
And the best thing is again, the El Haitlin crew being like, they know the Mystics would have locked down Caitlin, which is why they rested her for that game. Last season, Caitlin Clark not only had 30 points against the Mystics once, but they had, in the third time she played the Mystics, she set the all-time record for points generated in a game.
Fans knew this season wasn't going to be business as usual. The message is clear. This Indiana Fever team isn't just skilled, they're ready for war. And Sophie Cunningham might just be the one leading the emotional charge. Her support of Caitlin Clark isn't just as stirring praise, it's stoking the fire of every team waiting to knock Indiana off their pedestal.
Oh my God, Sophie's a dog. She raises the level of play of everybody around her as soon as she steps foot on the floor. Hell, even on the sideline.
Sophie Cunningham's comments about Caitlin Clark aren't just headlines. They're a signal that the WNBA is changing. The league is evolving with more eyes, more drama, and more star power than ever before. And players like Sophie, they're adapting, strategizing, and positioning themselves for what comes next. Whether you love her or love to hate her, one thing's for sure, Sophie Cunningham understands the moment. She's not backing down, she's doubling down. And with Caitlin Clark drawing defenders, fans, and headlines, Indiana might just be the team to watch all season long.
I think that not only Caitlin, but I think Stephanie White and her coaching staff is one of the most elite level coaching staffs in our league. You have Kelsey Mitchell, you have Natasha Howard, you have DeWanna Bonner. And so our team is looking really, really good right now.
This rivalry is only getting started. And come May 28th, when the Fever face the Mystics, don't be surprised if things get physical and personal. If you're ready for more inside stories, rivalries, and reactions from around the WNBA, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.